Alcoholic Anonymous. First of all, let me introduce to you what it is. This is from Stanford. Y'all heard it. Everybody and their mama go to Alcoholic Anonymous, and they been going for years and years. Ain't nothing getting better. This is from Stanford, explaining what it is. Am I right about that?
That's right.
Okay, watch this.
Alcoholics Anonymous is an international fellowship of people who have struggled with alcohol addiction. AA's approach is based on the 12 steps. Go to any AA meeting and you'll probably meet people who tell you that AA is the only reason they're alive and sober today.
For some people, it's, I need a fellowship of people who don't drink. I will not have to worry when I'm around them that anyone will pull out a bottle or offer me a drink, and they will specifically support me in that goal of mine. You can walk into a meeting feeling very, just down on yourself and destitute, and then you see somebody who is like you now, but they're doing great. And they may tell their story of, I was, drinking and I lost my marriage and my job, and you're there like, oh my gosh, that sounds like me. And now I'm doing great, and I'm in recovery, and I pulled things back together with my wife, and I've got a good job, and I'm close to my kids again. That feels really good. That inspires hope.
What do you think about that?
If you actually look at the statistics of Alcoholics Anonymous, it's actually remarkable how many people it helps. It's obviously a worldwide program. And
I have family members that have been going,
right.
been going there since I was born.
Right. Some people will call it a springboard to a spiritual life. It's the introduction for people to what a spiritual life would look like. Because before that, they're just in a completely lost physical world. Lost in the physical world, And so obviously we're not knocking anyone who's trying anything. Well,
no.
in our.
I'm just saying you're pitiful. I'm not knocking you.
Yeah.
But, and I know friends, I know family members who have, some of them really been going to alcohol since I was a teenager. Well, since I was in my 20s.
Right.
I know people who still go there.
Yeah. If it was a medicine that was put out into the world that had the success rate that Alcoholics Anonymous does,
right,
it would be remarkably unprecedented.
And so you say it has a success rate, meaning that, Nick said smoking that pot is all part, out in the water bottle, it's all part of the ritual.
It is very ritualistic. We love our rituals.
And so why do you call it success rate if they have to go for years and then they are afraid to be around other people who do drink and they have to have other people around them that don't drink? How is that success?
The amount of people who go to Alcoholics Anonymous and end up becoming sober, it's for that specific purpose. So as far as their overall spiritual life, I can't really speak to that. But as far as staying away
I'm just saying, how is that success if they have to still go to the program for a lifetime and they're afraid to be around anyone else that's drinking?
Yeah,
how is that success?
Success might not be the right word for it, but...
No, they saw it as success. I'm just trying to understand because I don't understand, that's all.
Yeah, I might have used the wrong word there.
No, they call it success too.
Oh, in the video we just played?
Right.
Right. They might have used the wrong word too. But
why is this the wrong word? I'm just trying to ask, why is it called success if it's something they need for the rest of their life?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
But you do believe it's successful, though, right?
I don't believe it. It's in the statistics of people who go there and become sober. I can't speak to their spiritual life. It's just that.
But I didn't mention the spiritual. I'm just trying to understand the program.
And that's the success that they're talking about, is purely becoming sober, not finding perfect peace or.
But I wouldn't think of that either. If they're sober, completely sober, why can't they go to a party where somebody else is drinking?
I didn't. Who said that that's the case?
Well, he said in that video.
He said that they can't go to a party?
Well, he said that the one good thing about the program, and I may not be quoting more verbatim, but you're around people that are not drinking, and as a result, you make friends at this program, I guess, and you're around people that's not drinking, so that way you're not tempted to drink. Something like that.
Yeah, I don't know how to answer that.
And it's been around. How long has it been around? Do you know?
I want to
Sean,
say
he's one of the experts as well.
I'll make sure, but it's sometime around the middle of the last.
Oh, okay.
Century.
And most people believe that it's successful because they hook you up with a non-drinking person who is an alcoholic or drug addict, and
late 1930s.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, it's been around a long time. See, I told you, I know people who have been a part of the program for years.
Yep.
And it's interesting too. They still call themselves an alcoholic.
Well, that's the part of this segment that I found most interesting when comparing Alcoholics Anonymous to your message, for example, is, at no point, as far as I know, I've never been to a meeting, but as far as I know, at no point do they say, this is not you. In fact, there's certain of the 12 steps that talk about your wrongs in life, how you've done wrong. And you have to make amends for those wrongs that you've done.
But what I don't understand is because I'm black and slow, why do they call it success if you are scared to be around another person that's drinking, even at a party or at home, I guess, or anywhere? Because if it's a success, that means that you could be working at a liquor store and not take a drink.
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for everybody who's ever been in the program. I can't say that everyone who's in AA is scared to be around people who drink. I know people who have been in AA for a long time. They're around people who drink all the time.
Right.
And it's not a problem.
Because it worked for them.
Right.
Okay. Here are they have like a 12-step program, right?
Right.
And here are the 12 steps. This is for more than rehab.
Step 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that our lives had become unmanageable. Step 2. Came to believe that a power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. Step 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives over to the care of God as we understood Him. Step 4. Made a searching and fearless moral inventory of ourselves. Step 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. Step 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all of these defects of character. Step 7. Humbly ask Him to remove our shortcomings. Step 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. Step 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible. Step 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly admitted it. Step 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood Him, praying only for knowledge of His will for us and the power to carry that out. And step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as the result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and practice these principles in all our affairs.
Amazing. And you say?
I say that obviously it takes you through some sort of a process where you have to, in earnest, go through each of these steps, and at the end you have a spiritual awakening. And the steps that I wanted to focus on in terms of our presentation of this is number 3 and number 5.
Number 3 is made a decision to turn our lives over to God as we understood Him.
Right. So, it's a good thing. They do talk about God in AA, which might be different than other recovery programs where they use all these big words and, tell you that you're this, that, or the other thing. In AA, they actually encourage you to look to a higher power. But at the same time, you could say that made a decision to turn our lives over to God as we understood Him. His ways are not our ways. It's not encouraging people to try to understand God is like trying to put out a fire with gasoline. It's like talking. It's like people who have anxiety and they worry about their anxiety. It's like trying to understand Him might be more frustrating than.
Yeah, I heard that. Made the decision to turn our lives over to God as you understood. Nobody understand God.
Yeah, it says it right there in the scripture.
Yeah, Isaiah 5:55, right? Isaiah 55. For my thoughts are not your thoughts. That's so deep and so true, but so misunderstood by people. For my thoughts are not your thoughts, nor are your ways my ways. And then Proverbs 3 said, do not lean on your own understanding. What a mess.
Yeah, so this might be one of those situations where people, think about God as they understand Him, and they're sort of setting up their own standards for themselves. They're setting up their own boundaries, and when you do that, you're bound to fail.
Fall into the bottle.
Right.
You're bound to fall into the bottle.
Some people. Yep. And they don't just use this for alcohol either. This 12-step program is used for all other types of drugs too, narcotics. They use the same 12 steps for all types of recovery programs.
Do you know if the program are free? Is it free?
Yeah.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, it's free. And maybe in some states it's not, but in a lot of states it's completely free.
Is it like going to church?
A little bit. Yeah, it's like a fellowship. That's why, like the guy said, you're in a space where you're with other people who have been through similar things, and you're able to fellowship with them in an anonymous way. Obviously, it's your face, but you don't have to use your last name. You're just Greg. You're just Stacy.
Amazing.
But like you always say, they do encourage you to say, I am an alcoholic.
As long as you say that, you're going to always be an alcoholic. You're justified by your words and you're condemned by them.
Yeah. It might just be a way of getting people to be honest about their problem. At first. There's nothing wrong with that, but the other step that I thought was interesting was number 5. Admitted to God, to ourselves, and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. This is related again to the fact that they never say it's not you. It's never been you. It's not you. It's
Right.
never been you.
Yeah.
Because we have never done wrong.
Isn't that amazing that they have you, or not just anonymous, but they have you admitting to doing wrong where you never have done wrong in your whole life, can't do wrong, won't do wrong, ain't going to do wrong, and they tell you to admit to something like that?
Yeah. And, like I said, I've never had experience with this particular program. But if it gets you to at least start examining your life, the steps might not be completely perfect. It might not have 100% success rate.
Might not, you think?
Whatever that means. But
I don't know.
But at the end of the day, if it gets you to at least start looking at yourself and start examining your life, that's a good thing.
What? One guy doesn't think AA works, right? I guess he went through it. Did he go through the program?
He had, and this is a testimony from a lifelong alcoholic, at least one person who doesn't agree with the program.
But in all honesty, no matter how great the program is, or any program really, if it works or not, you can always find people that's not going to work for, and they're going to walk away and say, oh, it doesn't work. And they don't tell you they didn't put the work into it, they didn't do this or do that. They just blame the program for not helping them.
Of course, yeah. And he talks about, where it comes from, too. He talks about his parents in this clip.
Oh, this guy does?
Yeah.
So I don't know about him, but I just know people are going to always find some fault in something. This is from Soft White Underbelly. Watch this.
My parents got divorced when I was around 2. He came back to the States. He was actually exited from the military because of mental illness. My mother happens to be mentally ill too. So for the 12 years he wasn't there, I grew up, especially in Germany, alcohol is a big culture. It didn't even occur to me that my mother was self-medicating. And by the time I was 12 years old, I was already drinking too. I went to an AA meeting once. You know what I felt like when I left? I actually wanted to drink even more. And that's exactly what I did. I went to the nearest liquor store and bought a drink. Because just sitting in that environment was so depressing and took so much emotion out of you that it actually was draining and I needed a drink. I almost felt like I had to restore myself. So the place that should have helped me actually made me want to drink even more.
Amazing. But just because it didn't work for him, that doesn't mean the program doesn't work.
No, and there's a lot of common sayings that they use in Alcoholics Anonymous. One day at a time, progress, not perfection, let go, let God.
Right.
You know, there are a lot of common sayings that might have some overlap with some of the stuff, you know, we might tell people.
And so once again, when they say it's successful, it just means that there are people who go through the program and they stop drinking.
Right.
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 Okay.
It says nothing about, you know, anything beyond that. That's the purpose of the program.
Nice.
Is to get you sober.
Right on.
You know, beyond that, it's really up to you. My favorite one of these sayings that I love that I've heard from this program, they say, "Your best thinking got you here." You know, for people who say, isn't that interesting?
Meaning that, what do you mean by that?
They say, like, you know, you can't think your way out of this, in other words. So they say, you know, if you think that you can think your way out of this, just know that your best thinking got you here.
Oh, okay. That makes sense.
Got you where you are.
Right on.
And
nice.
One more interesting thing.
Okay.
One more interesting thing is that some people say that these sayings that they have in Alcoholics Anonymous that they ask you to keep on your mind, some people say that they're very cliche, that they're very, you know, common and cliche. But the more cliche they are, the more true they are. So one day at a time is something everyone says all the time. It's cliche,
right?
But that's one of the that's one of the truer ones than any of them.
Right.
It's like the more cliche it is, the more true it is.
That's right. That guy that we just played that said it didn't work for him, he looked like he has parents issues. He didn't forgive his mama.
Right.
He got some other issues you need to deal with as well.
Right.
It sounds like.
Right.
Amazing. Well, I wish y'all well with the Alcoholics Anonymous thing. I didn't.
But I think just to keep in mind that it's
the
not.
The one that I said, your mama. What?
I think just to keep in mind that it's not you would be the one thing that, as far as I know, is not a part of AA that should be.
Right. Absolutely.
You know, that's the part that, yeah.
Nice. Well, thank you.
The last thing.
Yes.
The Serenity Prayer. Have you ever heard of the Serenity Prayer?
I've heard of it, yeah.
You've heard of it, right?
Yeah.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference between the things that I can change and the things that I can't change.
Nice.
That's like central.
Oh yeah, that's part of Alcoholics Anonymous.
Oh, that is pretty much like the message.
One of these days, can we interview either the founder of the program or one of the teachers of the program or something like that?
The founder of the program is dead, but but yeah, I could try to get in touch with someone who runs a program or someone who's in the program or something like that.
Yeah, I'd like to understand it better or more.
Yep.
Add to what you just told me.
Yep, there's a great...
the serenity thing sounds nicer.
Yeah, God grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Serenity.
What does serenity mean?
Serene. Stillness, almost.
Oh, to let go?
Yeah, I'll get you the exact definition.
I'm black and slow.
Serenity, state of utter calm and unruffled repose or quietude. Do we have like one more minute?
Yes, sir. You the boss. You the producer. What the?
Well, I've said this on the program before, but that poem "Waiting" by John Burroughs.
I keep waiting, waiting on the world to change.
Yes.
Keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. That one?
No, but that's a good one too.
What the?
"Waiting" by John Burroughs. It's a poem.
Oh, okay.
Do you want to hear it?
Yes.
Serene, I fold my hands and wait, nor care for wind, nor tide, nor sea. I rave no more 'gainst time or fate, for lo, my own shall come to me. I stay my haste, I make delays, for what avails this eager pace? I stand amid the eternal ways, and what is mine shall know my face. Asleep, awake by night or day, the friends I seek are seeking me. No wind can drive my bark astray, nor change the tide of destiny. What matter if I stand alone? I wait with joy the coming years. My heart shall reap where it hath sown, and garner up its fruit of tears. The waters know their own, and draw the brook that springs in yonder height. So flows the good with equal law onto the soul of pure delight. The stars come nightly to the sky, the tidal wave onto the sea. Nor time, nor space, nor deep, nor high can keep my own away from me.
Amazing. Who is that?
John Burroughs.
Right on. Very nice.
Yep.
Deep.
Deep, right?
Yeah. Amazing. Nice.
Yeah, so...
Well, I wish the people at the program well.
Right.
The alcoholic program.
Yeah, no matter what program you're in.
Right.
Whatever is meant for you can't be stopped.
That's right.
It will come to you no matter what.
Absolutely, man.
Right?
Amazing. Steve, welcome to the show. You're on the air.
That call makes me want to take a drink and go to AA, man.
What the? Oh, mess.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's all right. I wish him well listening
Yeah.
to that. But what I was just going to ask quickly, with all this AA stuff that you and Sean were talking about, do you think that people, the abstinence and like the avoidance of a specific vice, like drinking or like sex, because they have the one for that too. Do you think that even helps you overcome, or is it even a good springboard, or it kind of almost in a way creates a new identity? Because I think people create a new identity as the recovery or like the actual like person who's doing the overcoming, where I think even that identity kind of keeps you from being free anyways.
So what's your question for me?
So do you think that the approach of all these programs of, avoiding or not go, like you were saying, like not going into the, to the bar or hanging out with people, that even having that expectation of avoiding and, doing the steps and everything else, does that really help people overcome, or is it just creating a new identity that is hiding them from the old one that was there?
No, it's not helping you to overcome anything.
So do you think it's even worth getting involved in these programs in general?
Is it worth getting in there at all? It might be to some people, because maybe some people are like really, really alcoholics, and they may, if they didn't go and get some type of sobriety, is that what it's called? Sober. Yeah. Then they may end up having a car accident or creating some problem for them. So it sounds like, at least for the drinking, it helped them, prevents them from getting deeper into that. So that is a physical help, I guess. But it doesn't help spiritually.
Right. So, because I think that most of these programs, they focus on the stuff physically, like the behavior, the drinking, or like you doing drugs or the hooking up, and they're focusing more on avoiding the physical behavior, and that's not helping to address, like what you always say, like the forgiveness and the other stuff with it. But I'm just questioning because I've done some of these programs. Because
the problem is not alcohol or drugs or sex or anything physical. It's not that at all, not one iota. You're doing those things because you already have a problem. And until people start dealing with the cause, then the effects will always be around. You just go from one effect to another one until you overcome the cause, the reason you're doing these things. And the program tends not to deal with the cause. I don't know what Alcoholics Anonymous is doing, except for what Sean just showed me this morning, but it tends not to deal with the reason you're doing what you do.
So is it worth recommending people get into these programs in general? That's what I'm trying to figure out after having, had experiences with them.
Well, because I've not gone to any of them, I would not recommend it, but I don't know. I wouldn't say it's not.